We are going to briefly look at the different levels in each domain. You will be provided with a copy of the PLDs and the ELPs at the end of this presentation, so I don't want you to worry about memorizing or taking notes of everything that I'm saying. I want you to sit back and try to absorb and understand where the L's in your classroom are coming from. Where are they in their language development, and how can you support them? We're going to begin with listening, and we're going to begin with beginners. And if you'll notice that in beginners, there is a recurring theme. The recurring theme is they don't know English. They have little to no ability to understand the spoken English language, either academically or socially. They are in the process of trying to listen intently to distinguish the different words that you're saying, and then trying to translate those either on their head or in a translator. And they're going to be struggling with that. They're going to also be looking around to the other classmates to see what they're doing and get clues from them as to what they're supposed to be doing. These students will not be raising their hand and say, Mr. Jones, I don't know what you're talking about. When they fail to understand, they're just going to clam up. They're going to sit back and remain silent. So in order for them to understand, we're going to have to intentionally modify your presentations when you're speaking. For example, if you want the class to turn to page 360 in the textbook, you're going to write 360 on the board, and you're going to open up the text. You're going to act like you're opening up a textbook. You're going to mime it and say, open your textbook to page 360. Even though you are scaffolding for your L's, remember, they still need to master the content that you want them to learn. You may just have to scale it down to a size that's manageable for them and scaffold it so that they can understand it. When it comes to our intermediates, they're going to be able to understand the simple or routine directions, simple conversations, short discussions on familiar topics. But when the topics become more academic and more elevated and less familiar, then you're going to need to provide them with some linguistic support or adaptations. But rest assured that this level of student is going to be more comfortable in asking you to rephrase, slow down, or to repeat. So you'll be able to, it'll be a little easier to work with these guys. Beginners are a challenge. The advanced students, they're going to understand longer, more elaborated directions and conversations and discussions on both familiar and unfamiliar topics. But what you may notice is that they need more processing time. You might have to give them some visuals to help them understand what the conversation is about. You might have to give them verbal cues and gestures to support that understanding. They're going to be doing really good about understanding the main points and important details, but some implicit information they might be missing out on without linguistic support. These guys are going to be willing to ask you to clarify or to rephrase if they are unsure about something. Advanced High? Hey, those guys are easy. They're nearly comparable to their English speaking peers. But be aware that they may still need some time for translating in their head. What you see here are the English language proficiency standards for listening. So just like your subject test learning objectives, these are the listening learning objectives for your L's. It's going to take intentional planning on your part to include opportunities for L's to practice listening in English in your class.